Welcome to WP Tonic on time. Welcome to WP Tonic on Timelines, episode 199-80. It's February 2016. That means it's a new topic on WP Tonic. And we're going to talking this month all about graphic design. We have 4 wonderful shows. We've got some amazing guests coming on, some of the top people in WordPress. But there's so much to design. A lot of the coders, designers really pass it off, and it's really a specialty. So there's so much to do. I've seen the advanced notes that Jonathan has created. They're absolutely amazing. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan so he can explain what we'll be talking about today on the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th.
All right then, Bill. So I think in this episode, Bill, we discussed responsive design, responsive images, and then we'll go on some tools that are aimed for the kind of semi-non-graphic designer. Adobe Creative Suite is fantastic, but it's $60 a month. So we'll be looking at some cheaper solutions for those that don't really need the full power of Adobe Creative Suite. And then on the 13th, we've got Shane, who's the joint owner of Thrive Themes and Impact, his own kind of marketing. And he's going to be talking about graphics and how they help with online marketing. He knows almost everything about that. And then it's the 20th, isn't it? On the 20th, we've got another special guest. And, my mind's gone blank.
Yeah, you just said, that's where it goes. That's where we...
Bridget Willard. She's on with Tucker on the water cooler, and she's a social media manager. And she'll be joining us to talk about the importance of using images with WordPress and social media. And then the last Saturday of the month, was that the 20...
The last, let's see, we've got...
27th.
27th, correct.
We're just going to have a kind of roundhouse where we're going to talk about everything that we discussed during the month and maybe add some more suggestions. And I think it should be great stuff, Bill.
And Jonathan, I've got to say, you always do great show notes, but your advanced show notes for this are as good as they've ever been.
Oh, thank you.
Get those out to folks. Those are excellent. The links, connections, the videos to watch. I mean, I expect to know a lot about graphic design by the end of this month, by the way we summary. Also, I think you missed, tentatively on the 25th in the evening at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a roundtable.
Yes.
As normal, but that's harder to get into. We'll try to put the links up. That's done on Google Plus Hangouts, but everything else is on Blab. Very good. So this is Super Bowl weekend, but we're here podcasting and netcasting and talking about WordPress and having a fun time with all the shows. But this is so important, and it's an expensive area too. It can be expensive, not expensive. Hey, before we start, before we go into a break, I want to ask sort of both John and Jonathan a quick question from the business side, and maybe me too. How important are graphics on your website compared to the framework of your website? I mean, think about that. The difference between a great website and a crappy website could be the graphics.
Well, I definitely think that, the graphics that you use, like the stock photos or the custom photography or the graphics are definitely going to play a role in how people perceive you. Professional photography, you notice a lot of people doing that, getting for their about page. That's going to make a difference if you're using custom icons or, vector graphics and things that aren't just out of the box. That's going to make you stand out just a little bit more. Just all those little things add up.
Jonathan?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Well, same question. What do you think? How do you think graphics play in a website? What's the
Well, it's kind of multifaceted, really, Bill. It's the main form apart from written text. It's the main way you're going to communicate what you're trying to offer or sell or communicate. People don't tend to read. If they're going to read something really intensely, they print it out. They tend to skim read on the web page. breaking up that text with images is really quite important in the actual readability of the pages. Also, Google, they don't say directly, but there seems to be a lot of indication that Google likes pages that have a mixture of text and images. They seem to give a little bit more SEO juice if you tag those images up correctly, and it just makes something, you know, people tend a non-attractive page, they will bounce away from it. It's proven that the design, the look with graphics, with well-written content keeps people on your website.
Yeah, as we head to a break, I just want to mention one thing. Next week, we'll be talking about the framework with Sean, probably in more detail, because he owns Thrive Themes. But the framework is where you start. And sometimes I look back and I love Genesis Dynamic, and it's such a solid engine for CSS and the code, but I'm not sure it's the best for your images.
Well, I think you're going to find next week really interesting, Bill, because Shane and his company, they provide a WordPress plugin, which is they market it as a direct competitor to lead pages, and it enables you to develop landing pages rapidly and test those landing pages. So it's a direct WordPress competitor to lead pages, basically, Bill.
You know, that's another thing we'll put in our notes, because the landing page really is a big graphics with a little bit of text that gets people to call to action. So that's huge. And so that's really where it is. And none of us are graphic designers per se. We do it, but we really are. I'm still looking for that wonderful graphics person out there. By the way, if you're great in graphics, I need you to work with me in my business, because I'm looking for that person out there to be the super expert. It's hard to find. I haven't found them yet. I know they're out there. Hey, with that, let's go to a break. Folks, we've got two more sections coming off the break. We've got this one for the iTunes. Those in the audience, we're going to be answering your questions and having you come up in about 20 minutes. So responsive images. We've got both John Locke and Jonathan Denwood. Jonathan, do you want to lead off on responsive images?
I'll make some statements and then see if John wants to add. I'm sure you will add extra. Obviously, responsive design has become the dominant trend in web design and development over the past 3 years, and its ability to adapt to different screen resolution and sizes. One of the difficulties with that is, how do you deal with images? Because images are pixel based, so they don't really expand and contract very well. Well, if you've got a small image and you try and blow it out, it will just pixelate. So how does modern web design deal with raster images? That's been an ongoing discussion. And the good news for WordPress is it has adopted some morphologies that were in external plugin, but lately have become in the core WordPress, that really help people deal with the difficulties of different screen sizes. It even applies to the small screen, because even though your theme will adapt the image to the screen size of, let's say, your iPhone, what people don't realize is that the actual size of that image is exactly the same as what would be seen on the desktop. And so the download time, if the image hasn't been adapted and optimized, can be considerable. So with the new technology that the team at WordPress have now installed in the core, that particular problem is dealt with. So what do you think, John? What's your thoughts about this, and would you agree with most of the stuff I've been saying?
Yeah, most definitely. One thing that you brought up that is happens a lot is people will take photos with their phone and they'll upload it, but what they don't realize is they're uploading like an image that's, you know, just ungodly huge, and it takes forever for people to download that when they go to a page. So responsive images partially has to do with performance, and really that's the issue at hand, because you can take like a huge like photo and put it in your page and make that image responsive, but if it's taking 10 seconds to download that image, that's kind of the problem, because people aren't going to wait around for that and they're going to leave. So a technology that a lot of web developers have been working on open source is picture fill, and the folks at WordPress had a plugin that was providing responsive images by generating a set of images from the original upload for different screen sizes. Now this just went into WordPress core in, I think in like 4.4, I think it was, yeah.
That's right.
So basically WordPress now has responsive images by default, meaning when you upload a photo into a page, it's going to generate a subset of images based off that original one, and automatically detecting like the screen size, it's going to serve that the appropriate sized image. So I think that's pretty cool. But I mean, behind the scenes is probably taking like 3 years of people working not only in WordPress but like outside of WordPress to make this happen. So, but I think it's in a world where everyone's on their phone first. I think that it is a problem that needed to be solved. So.
Yeah, I think the other thing that people got to be aware of, that it wasn't easy to do this. What is your basic methodology when you're doing the site? Do you get the biggest image that for your desktop uploaded, and then you allow WordPress to produce these images? What's your methodology when you're constructing it, John?
Well, it depends on how I'm using it. Say if I'm using an image for a background image, like a big hero image, and we're not uploading the image directly, but rather using it as a background image. The browser is still downloading that image. So what I've done in the past is use a mobile first, use a mobile first kind of philosophy when it comes to that in the theme. Meaning, say if the screen is, like a tablet size, serve like this smaller photo.
Yeah.
As the background image. But if it's very large, like the screen gets bigger, serve the full size image. When it comes to like images inside the site,
in the media library, they're going to be
in the media library. I mean, a lot of that's taken care of, but I try to just start with images that are as big as they need to be, but not any bigger.
That's it. Yep, that's my own. That's how I deal with it as well. I've just put a link in. One of the things you got to be aware, folks, if you had a previous site that had a lot of images in the WordPress library and you've updated to 4.4, it won't actually affect the previous images. This will only apply. And I've just put a link to a plugin that you can install, and it will optimize the previous images that you put into the library and optimize those. So you have a set of 4 for the 4 most popular sizes and resolutions that people are using a responsive site on. I would encourage you to do a full backup before you utilize anything like this. It's supposed to be pretty stable, and I've used it and it hasn't caused me any problems. But when you're utilizing a plugin like this, I would always advise people to have a backup before they do it. Have you utilized this plugin at all? John?
Yeah. Oh, the regenerate thumbnails.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used that like a lot. Another one that I think it's might be the same one, but I'm not sure. It's another one, force regenerate thumbnails. So
there's some out there, folks, that will help you with your previous library before you upgraded to 4.4. I think one of the other good things, John, is that basically I don't really deal with anything outside of WordPress, but through my reading, I think WordPress and the WordPress Developer Core, they're at the forefront of dealing with images, and they're being responsive compared to some of the other content management systems. So I think WordPress is on the leading edge. That's what I've read.
yeah, I think when it comes to CMSs, WordPress is overall like moving faster and more agilely than some of the other larger CMSs that are out there. So,
yeah, I think that's great. But I wouldn't say the solution is totally perfect, but I think when you're dealing with raster images, you know, you can never say what's going to come in the future. But I think the WordPress solution, it has taken a while to develop, but I think they've found a really good solution which they can build on. And I don't think, because of the limitation of raster images, you can never say no, but I think you can only do the possible, can't you?
you can only do the possible? Or...
Well, because you're dealing with a raster image that's
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I mean, for like icons and stuff like that, you can always use SVGs or...
I wasn't going to go there, but let's have a little quick chat about SVGs. So, what are SVGs, John?
SVG is an acronym that stands for Scalable Vector Graphic, and to express it in a simple way, like things like JPEGs and PNGs, they're basically using pixels, which is like little teeny weeny squares, to create an image. And with SVGs, you're basically using math to draw images. So things normally like you would design like an Illustrator, which are like vector graphics with what they call paths, which are basically like the lines and that make up the image. You're using math to create these. SVGs are you can export them as XML documents that tell the browser how to draw that shape. So.
Yeah, they're, you know, basically I've used them a little bit until, you know, actually the technology's been around for quite a while, but the problem was browser support. It was extremely patchy, and in a commercial site, you had to have a lot of fallbacks, which increase, you know, you had to work out what your fall. It was like the early days of JavaScript. You spent more time actually planning what would be happen if the browsers didn't support that particular bit of JavaScript. But I think browser, because of the dominance of Chrome now and Safari to some extent, and the decline of Explorer's market share, the actual browser support for SVG has increased. Would you agree with that, John?
Yeah, it's really only the older versions of Internet Explorer that don't support it. All the newer versions of Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and the newer versions of Internet Explorer all support SVG. So,
yeah. Well, what I think we do now, folks, is we're going to go for a break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about SVG, and then graphic tools that are not that expensive for the non-graphic designer.
Very good, Jonathan, as we go to break. And I want to remind the listeners on the podcast that every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock Pacific, you can come up live on Blab and engage with us. And after the show, the 30-minute show, we're going to come up and answer your questions, one-on-one review websites. Okay, coming back off. This is the last session, about 7 or 8 minutes. Still talking about SVG. Unfortunately, the show after the show, we'll talk about that after the show because it's kind of funny what we're talking about. We're going to review a few websites We're just not sure which ones. Jonathan, take it away. SVGs. It sounds like a disease. SVG. I got SVG.
That's a little bit, don't it, Bill? I think the other thing is, I think it's great for background images, icons. It's used a lot with icons, isn't it? Because basically the size of the icon is going to be considerably smaller. And there's a number. I will find some and add those to the notes, folks, which you'll find on the WP Tonic website. I'll find some links. There's some excellent WordPress plugins that enable you to use SVG icons. But I think, I wondered if you agree with this, John. What people got to realise is it enables you to fundamentally use vector art. But really high quality vector art is very time consuming to produce. So people are still going to use pixel images more than they're ever going to use SVGs. Would you agree with that?
I would say that there's a place for both. I think, like raster art, basically like photos, that's always going to exist. But a lot of the projects that I work on with partners who design, a lot more of them are moving toward incorporating SVGs for things like logos and like icons and stuff like that, where in the past we would have done PNGs. So I think that is kind of the standard right now for high-end design. So
right,
in the past that would have been Retina, But
yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with the Retina question? Folks, that's a technology that it's high resolution screens, and it's a kind of trade name that Apple utilizes for its high-end tablets and its high-end computers. How do you deal with that, John?
Generally speaking, I just try and figure out like what things need to be Retina, what images on the site like absolutely have to be Retina, and use media queries to queue up those images. So
I'm going to break in and ask a question here. 72 DPI, you can make it easily by taking your Mac and clicking it on your image and just reducing it to 72 or making it whatever size. But now in the Retina, what size DPI do I need? And you said you maybe hook them into like an Amazon S3 feed or something. Is that what you're saying, John?
No, I'm just saying you can use. There are plugins that you can use for swapping Retina images and detecting those and having like a fallback. But generally speaking, I think you just make the Retina image larger. 72 DPI, just like larger. You can do 300 DPI, but that's more for like print. So
yeah, on the screen, never make it over 72. Just make your image a little bit bigger, and it'll push it back in. Yeah. What size for Retina do you think? For example, what's on a WordPress? The biggest I ever make, I do it for Karen's real estate. There's probably her flyer is about 400 by about 550, maybe 600. That's pretty good size image, but 72 DPI. It loads pretty good.
Yeah, that's
and I'll link a PDF to the backside to expand it to to Amazon S3 if there's got a bunch of PDFs hooked to it. So that's what you're saying for Retina, basically a bigger image that shoots down. Okay, very good.
Yeah, thanks, guys. What I'm going to go on to now is go on to some cheap graphic tools that are aimed probably at the non-graphic designer type, apart from one I'm going to talk about. So I suppose, John, that you use Adobe Cloud graphic.
Yeah, I use. I'm just on the Adobe plan. I think I just have a subscription to Photoshop and Illustrator, and I think that sets me back about $40 a month. So
yeah. So these are aimed, folks. I put some links in, folks, into the Blab chat. So I'm going to start off with Canva. And what Canva is, folks, have you utilized Canva at all, John?
John, I use Canva from time to time.
Can you hear us, John?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to pause. Go ahead.
So I'm going to talk about Canva first, and it's a free program, folks, and it's a browser-based kind of semi-editor, and what it does also, it provides a lot of templates that are designed for social media. So if you want to set up your Facebook, your Twitter, a number of other social media properties, they've got a number of templates where you can get the image resolutions, the right size, the right, and it just really, they also offer a lot of free backgrounds, and they offer some free photos, and then they offer a load of photos that are about $1 each. And a lot of people that are not really graphic designers use it a lot. Have you used it at all, John?
Which one is this, Canva?
Yeah.
I haven't used it, but I'm looking at it now, and it kind of reminds me of that. It was like the Adobe thing, like back in the day, that was like a cheaper version of Photoshop, but just did. It
was Photoshop Elements, wasn't it? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. It is a bit like that, isn't it? Another thing I'm going to.
I use Canva, and I find there's some shortfalls with it too on the resolution. It's well below 72. I don't really like it anymore. I think there's better stuff out there than Canva.
All right, there we go, Bill. So another one we're going to look at is I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Pixlr.
Pick money. I pick money.
Pixlr.
Pixlr.
Of the kind of, there's a number of these online photo editors. Another one is PicMonkey.
I just bought PicMonkey.
But I personally like this one more than PicMonkey. I think it's got more power and it offers more flexibility. Because we're running out of time, one I would like to go on to, and in the other shoes, we've got a long list of these, which we were talking about. But to finish off today, one that I did look at is Affinity Designer. And I put the link in, I think. Yeah, I did. This is a real Photoshop challenger. I downloaded the trial version. I just played with it a little bit. It's mind-boggling what it can do. It's a bit like fireworks. It kind of mixes pixels with vector art in one application, and it's $49.99. And it's really, when you look at the training videos and what it can do, it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. My only fear about it is probably Adobe's going to buy it and it just disappear. But if you don't want to pay like $40 a month to Adobe, I would definitely, and you need something more sophisticated, I would definitely say look at Affinity. I was very impressed. Have you tried this out at all, John?
I haven't tried it. You just showed it to me today, but it looks pretty cool.
Hey, Jonathan, did you say, was that Pixlr, Pixlr you're talking about?
Yeah, Pixlr.
You know, I'm big on AutoCAD. I design build construction for many, many years. That's owned by Autodesk.
Oh, right.
AutoCAD.
Well, they should know what they're doing.
So they're a strong company. They're competing. They're trying to compete against Adobe. They're very powerful out of the area.
But I would definitely look at, if you want something. Unfortunately, it's Mac only, folks. I am a Mac person. I think it is only Mac only, but it was really very impressive. Very impressive.
Look at that today. It looks good. I've glanced at it, but you said it is. How much have you worked with it?
Oh, I only played around with it for about an hour.
Well, this month we're going to know that by the end of the month we should do some assessments and say, hey, this is the best. The last show, these are the very top tools. Boom, boom, boom. At the end of the month, and let's see if we can. I'm going to see if I can improve my site and make my stuff better. You know, one last thing in finishing up. One thing that I just did, I went back and I used Canva and some other stuff, and my stuff looked like, you know, I don't want to cuss on the show, but crap. Let's say it's cussy as I'm going to get. But my stuff was good. I just replaced it with some graphics and pictures. I've got so much social media out there, whether it's YouTube or whatever it might be. That is important to tie everything together. But I think just a good graphic with a name on it, sometimes a good picture is a way to start to clean it up until you get better. And then you definitely want to brand. And later on, maybe we'll talk about branding as we finish up, because this is all comes down to everything's got to hook together. It's got a brand if you're going to create a business out there. And I personally think all of us, whether you're running a web design company or whatever it might be, it's how things look is how people buy. It's not maybe the guts, the mechanics, how much you know. It's how great your site just looks. I mean, it's got to be responsive and got to react. It's got to load quick, but it's the look. So with that, Jonathan, let's finish up the podcast. Any last thoughts, John Locke, Jonathan?
I just think we'll be going through a lot of stuff. We kind of touched a few things. I think the responsive images, what WordPress has done in this area, is very impressive. I think there's a bit of confusion about, like you say, it sounds a bit like a disease, doesn't it, Bill?
Yeah,
SVGs. I don't, but I think in 2016 they're going to become more popular. And we're just trying to provide some more online tools or other tools. So what do you think, John?
Well, I think responsive images are, it's good that it's like landed here in WordPress. I do think vector graphics and SVGs are going to continue to become more prevalent. And I think there will always be a place for good photography. A lot of design is good photography. So,
yeah. Hey, with that, let's finish up. And I did leave some homework. Go over to WP Tonic, episode 80, or Timelines Tonight, episode 199, and I'll have the link to this CSS tricks. The SVG is for everybody. And it's about 45 minutes, and it's a wonderful clip to watch for a good intro on the SVG and the graphics and where we're going. So that's the homework this week. We'll come back, maybe talk a bit about that next week. Please stay on for the folks who are live in Blab. We've had a lot of folks, 51 people have come through, and we've got about 12 on right now. So we'll be reviewing other websites, answering your questions for the next hour or so, and bringing other folks on to chat and give testimonial. How's that, Jonathan?
That sounds great, Bill.
Hey, thank you, John. This is a wonderful show. Appreciate it. And again, this will be up tonight. Take care. And I lied. That's one last question. We're going to come back and dance. Come on. Come on, dance, guys. So that means that the podcast is all done, but there's much, much more to go on this Saturday morning, 6th February. And tomorrow's the Super Bowl. Are there any Super Bowl graphics? We've talked about Super Bowl graphics. What's Super Bowl doing with websites these days?
Got no interest in American football at all.
Guacamole. Okay, thank you. If anybody out there want to come on, give us what they think the best tool is. And also, I'm going to look at some websites to review. I thought about one to review. Keep on. You guys just chit chat. I'm look at some pages we can look at and graphics. Yeah. Oh, I know what it is. I know my Stelzner. I love to hit. You guys don't want to hit the CSS tricks.
No, we don't do that, Bill.
I love to talk about his site. Me will come up. We're going to hit Michael Stelzner. I'm going to send Michael a little email. Say, hey, we're talking about your website right now. So you guys keep on talking.
You get some up. And one thing I would like to talk about.
Or maybe Dave Jackson. We can talk about Dave Jackson.
What I like to talk about, John, is where you get some decent images from.
Very good. Yes.
For my stock photography, I've stuck with Big Stock Photo. I found them to offer the best quality for price metrics. What are some of the paid stock photography services that you use?
Well, as far as like stock photography, there's like some free resources that are out there. I'm going to throw those in the blab. Yeah, one is Pexels, and probably a lot of people have heard of this one.
Yeah.
It basically aggregates a lot of the free photos that are out there into one place where you can search. And these are free to download. Absolutely. Another one is Unsplash, and this like features more kind of like nature photography, but there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
You can definitely use something like iStock, photo, or Getty Images.
I try and keep away from them as much as possible.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, like, no joke.
That's a bit out of my. What about Flickr? Because I thought under the Creative Commons license you couldn't use it for a business website, but I think I'm wrong about that, aren't I? I think you can.
You can use Flickr photos, the ones that are Creative Commons, as long as you give attribution.
Oh, that's it, isn't it? Attribution. There's a really on WordPress. They did a write up, and Brenda, who's going to come on the show next week, she did the write up. There's a really nice WordPress plugin called Image Inject, and I'm going to try and find the link here.
Yes, I did see that. Yes, StockSnap is a good one. Eric,
and it really works. It really works with Flickr in finding these Creative Commons license. But this plugin she talked about, Image Inject, is quite amazing. It kind of does you do a search, it finds the image on Flickr, and then it sucks it into the library and puts it where you want it. And it makes the annotation for you. It does the annotation as well.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that's useful. I mean, but I mean, that's good. I mean, for the people who don't mind like having like the caption and the attribution.
Yeah.
That might not always be
appropriate.
Practical. Yeah. Robin's World also gave us graphicleftovers.com.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
And pixabay.com, which I have heard of. And that one's pretty good.
Yeah. A couple of the others I've kind of, it's freedigitalphotos.net. Not too bad. Photopin.com. I've used them a little bit. And Bixabay, that's Bixabay. I've used those a little bit. I find with some of these free kind of search catalogs that they start off fine, and then suddenly you get a lot of them that have a lot of commercial photography mixed in with them. So it kind of then you have to go and find another one. I don't know what your.
Yeah, I know you got with the free ones. You kind of have to like kind of pick through. Because I think it's like they start to kind of look the same like after a while. I mean, am I wrong in thinking that?
No, you're absolutely right. And you've got to be damn careful, because one of the reasons why I really despise Getty is that on these free sites and on Flickr, they actually put photos in Flickr to trip people up, because they know that people that don't understand the Creative Commons license, they actually put Getty photos in Flickr to actually entrap people to use them, and then they get a letter asking them for what is it, $600 to $1,000 a pop now, isn't it?
That's their business model.
And actually, that is their business model, isn't it? I think they've got more lawyers than photographers now, haven't they?
I mean, they have good images and stuff like that, but I mean, it's definitely higher end. And
who was that again?
You know, that's cool.
That's good.
Robin's World put in morgue file, and I've used them before.
All right.
There's a few people,
and they're
out there,
fine.
that's a trick. I hate that model, and there's attorneys behind it. There's groups of dishonest attorneys that do that, and they send people letters. I've had a friend get a letter like that. I hate that with a passion. They should friggin' throw the attorneys to jail to do that, because it's entrapment the way they set it up.
Oh, it is, but they don't back off. Sometimes they do, but a lot of the time they don't back off, do they, John? They actually do sue people, don't they?
Well, I've never been sued. I have known people that have gotten that have just like grabbed stuff off Google Images and gotten like a takedown notice. Yeah. So yeah, do be careful, because I mean I think that's what most people do, is just Google like Google Images, and that's danger. That is really dangerous.
I don't want to take down notes, but you can't do not take off of Google. Make sure you own your own stuff.
Yeah, you've got to be a bit more intelligent here, folks.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I haven't done it, but if I'm dumb enough to do it, I make a judgment call and I give a plug to the person. But actually, I think in some ways, John, it's more dangerous to go into Flickr and not understand and not do a search under Creative Commons license and just go in there and just not understand and just take photos there. Because I do know that Getty put a ton of photos just to play on people's ignorance on Flickr, John.
Coco Internomad in the Blab chat here asks, come on, professionals don't look for graphics on Google, do they? And no, they don't. But what does happen is after you hand the site to a client, that does happen.
You know, one thing I do on timelines, sometimes I'll go up on Google and Google the person I'm interviewing if they haven't sent a good graphic, and I'll just cut their face out. Sometimes. I mean, that's
I do really think that you know, I support a church website and I designed it for them. And when I handed it over to them, there wasn't one image that wasn't bought or we got written permission of some of the images. I tell you, after a month, it was just covered in images that they just downloaded. And I kept on telling them, don't go to Google and just we didn't realise. And they got a letter in the end, John. They got a letter in the end.
Just a letter's okay, as long as they're not asking for money.
Well, they freaked out pretty good over it, Bill.
You know what? I will tell you. So there's a story, and I think I can't remember where I read this. It might have been on Medium or who knows. But it was somebody telling a story about how they used one is like the only time they ever used a Google image, and it was just like a really crappy like photo that somebody took like with their phone or something. But they said like this is just a terrible photo, but they got sued for like $2,000 and they had to pay, because it was that or get sued for more.
Well, one particular area, and this applies, folks, to fonts and icons. But the good news is there's a lot of really good quality, totally free fonts out there, and the same with icon sets. There's a lot of people that have done really good icon sets, and they offer them for nothing as a way of promoting themselves and other factors. But in general, you know, a lot of people just nick fonts, don't they? And they nick on icon sets, and they get into trouble, don't they, John?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely make sure that you have. It's either got a commons license to where like anybody can use it, a GPL license, or make sure that you have permission. Make sure that that's intended. Don't try and get something for nothing, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, just to finish this part off, and then we go on to reviewing the websites. One of the worst I understand is the King family, Dr. Martin King. If you utilize his speeches or his images, his family, who control his estate, are notorious for going after people. Did you realize that, John?
Oh, I did. I didn't realize that, but I believe it. Yeah. So one more story too. Let's. Do you know who Andy Bio is? Who is half the XOXO festival?
No, I don't actually.
Okay. So anyway, he's a guy in the maker and like web development space. A few years ago, he made an 8-bit music CD. It was basically just MIDI 8-bit recreation of the Miles Davis album, Kinda Blue. Now, he didn't get sued by Miles Davis, but he got sued by the photographer who took the cover photo of that album. And it was like a pixelated photo that he used, but he got sued and he had to settle for like 5 or 6 figures, and almost like ruined him. But
let me tell you a letter I got once, and with the real estate side. I used in text in a paper, just in text, I used traditional real estate services. You know, something like that. I forgot what it, but the word traditional, he said, I couldn't use it because I had already trademarked that with real estate. I said, no, you didn't. So I didn't want to fight it. So I just pulled it because you have to go to the attorneys and all that. It gets expensive. Yeah. The word traditional. So people can do anything. It doesn't mean it's legal, but it doesn't mean that you have to, sometimes you have to get an attorney and there's different courts. It's a pain in the ass. It's one of the,
well, the whole area is very confusing. On the other side, I understand if you've got a trademark or you've got, your ownership or something, and you don't defend it, and you don't defend it consistently, you can then lose it. Right. So there's that side of it. Just to finish off, folks, I just do not think it's a really great idea to use the images of famous people. Don't use Steve Jobs or somebody else that's really famous and just take a photo of, do a Google search and just take his photo and use it. You're going to get a letter pretty quick.
There's some place will sell you a good picture of Steve Jobs that's legitimate.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And like I said, I found big stock photo. There's a number of them, but it varies on the quality and the selection. I've found over the years that big stock photo have offered the best selection for price, but that's everybody's choice. So, the Wizard, have you got some websites?
I do. There's been a little controversy here lately, especially on Blab, because he's got a show on Blab. Social Media Examiner, Stelzner, Michael Stelzner, who's really big. I dropped it in there in the bottom. Pull it up. This is a great one to talk about graphics because he puts a lot of time, money, and efforts into how he runs his business. And it goes through multi-checks. He does a blog. He's very successful. He's got a big conference that comes up, I think, around April, which he charges a small fortune for in San Diego. And San Diego, of course, is where a lot of the social media and podcasting really blossoms from. So there's social media. Look at his graphics. They're pretty amazing. See, they've got on the top, they've got San Diego, the carrier there where he has his party. It's almost too cartoonish for me, though. I mean, it works, but he's got all the tricks and tips. It's almost like a landing page here.
I'll let John start off.
That's his post.
I've seen this site before. Yeah, it's definitely like they've invested a lot of time into graphics, and obviously these are custom illustrations, like around a theme. I think it's, it's kind of cool. It does make it seem a little cartoony, but I mean, it's obvious that it's professionally done. It is not something that's easily recreated. I mean, obviously somebody is doing all these custom graphics. So
pretty amazing.
I think like any site, if you have like someone with this type of skill level, like on your payroll, and you have kind of a consistency or a theme with your graphics, I think that does give it kind of like a more aura of this site is like legit.
John, I got a question for you. How does he make, where he's got his tabs for his pages, how does he make that graphics behind that tab? That's pretty amazing. And what do you think he's using for a framework here? I got to look it up.
He's using WordPress.
Well, he's definitely WordPress, but I'm trying to figure out what he's using if he's using a framework.
I would imagine this is a pure custom design.
Yeah, I would imagine. Let me look at the source code. So you're asking me like on the top navigation?
Yeah, it's got that bamboo.
Well, that's just a background
image. Yeah,
it's
just a background image.
Behind his stuck in with CSS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a background image. You kind of you do a kind of shortcut around the top, which is the header image, has a little bit, probably the edge and the bottom, which goes into the free social marketing report. You just cut up a big image and you put it in the header, and then you got the bit that's for the navigation. That's roughly how you do it, isn't it, John?
Yeah. So anyway, Bill, to answer your question, he's using it looks like a child theme. It's a Respondo Pro child theme.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll drop it in here in Blab that what the parent theme is here.
I think it might be Genesis, but I'm not positive. I'm pulling it right now.
I don't think it is. It says so Respondo, proven framework, theme builder, and first choice for WordPress. So it might just be like a theme builder, and then there's a child theme. So So that's it.
All right. So,
So we got.
I think the it's not exactly my cup of tea, but it's been professionally done, and let's face it, it doesn't look like it's a pretty unique look, and you memorize it. They use the boy with the magnifying glass as their kind of, and that social media examiner text, they use that a lot, and you can't be confused where you land. It's all over the boy with the microphone, and you can't be that confused where you landed up, can you?
No,
And
by the look.
yeah. And they've got this big social media marketing industry report. They're trying to get your name and email right at the front, and then they've got the blog posts underneath, haven't they? And they've kept with this for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, Michael Selsner's built up in the last 4 or 5 years. He's got a good company. I don't know how robust it is. It's funny. The community's relatively small in the social media and the podcasting and all this. And they get in pissing contests, and there's a pissing contest with him and a few others going on right now. It's kind of interesting because they do it on the blogs.
About what, Bill?
I know exactly what. I just know that they're complaining, and he's really embraced Blab. He's got a show on Blab, 1 hour a week, which I think is a great platform. And it's just funny to see the podcasters going back and forth. And
well, come on, folks. Have you got any website?
Have a question, Jonathan? Fun stuff, only 12. Didn't put it in the question format, but I put it in the question format. By the way, folks, there's a little slash down below in the right-hand corner. If you go to the question, the Q, you can type in your question, leave a space, type in your question, and then I can flip it up here. So fun stuff, only Q has, I want to create a new site that is responsive, not sure where to start. Well, fun stuff, can you stick in the site that you have now and we'll look at it? You do that.
Well, how would you reply to that, John, initially?
Well, there's tons of resources for that. Basically, if you are comfortable like just working on your CSS, you can definitely use media queries. There's like a billion resources for that. Just Google media queries, responsive site, and that's definitely where I would start, and just set up like a clone of your site somewhere, and then just get it the way you want it, and then just move those changes over to your live site. So
yeah, to kind of answer it, you basically, one of the problems, folks, is you've got a lot of choice here, but you've got to understand what your choices are. There's a number of they're parent themes, but they're also kind of frameworks. What I mean by frameworks, that they're based on CSS frameworks. Either they're based on Bootstrap, which is a very popular CSS framework, or they're based on Foundation, which is another really popular CSS framework. And there's a number of these kind of cut down WordPress parent themes that are based on either these two CSS frameworks. But you've got to be pretty good at your graphics, because you're going to have to change all the graphics, and they provide various different levels of, you can move widget. A lot of them are very widgetized. But if you're not really good at graphics and you want something that's more kind of set up to use out of the box in a way, I would suggest that you probably go with Genesis and maybe look at Studio Press. You've got to be a bit careful, folks, because not all their child themes are responsive, and not based on CS3 and HTML5. But they do give you a really easy way to search all their themes. And there's a number of another third-party shops, Web Savvy Designs, Rebecca Gills, they've got a nice selection and they're well coded. So it really depends if you want something that's more of a blank sheet and there's a lot of choice, and then you're going to knock up something yourself and spend the time on it, or you're going to go maybe to something of the kind of parent-child setup. I would say the most well and established is Genesis and Studio Press. What do you think, John?
I mean, definitely you can create a responsive site using pretty much anything. Definitely
Yeah.
Genesis is one way you can go. You're not.
Well, you can, John. I was thinking. I was just trying to
No.
answer.
Okay, I'm looking at fun stuff only 12 here. I am seeing so there's like this kind of like subdomain like Tenyo where you did the magic site, and that's responsive. But when I go to the top level part here, fun stuff only, you said you're trying to create a portal site for your friend. So when I go to funstuffonly.com, that looks like it's like older, like maybe this is just straight HTML. And that's what it looks like. So you can definitely modify this HTML to make it responsive. So if you're comfortable doing that, I mean, that's definitely a place you can start. You could definitely just alter the CSS file to maybe when it gets smaller, just have these columns stack up on top of each other or something like that. That would be an easy way to start with this. And then I don't know like all these different subsites if you've done these like responsive, but the magic one that you showed me, like that one is responsive already, it looks like. So
Yeah, you could do that, couldn't you? 'Cause it's not going to be that hard to do it.
yeah.
But really, if you're going to do that, you really got to consider, am I at the same time going to put it into a content management system, and is it more easier just to take a framework or a parent theme and start with a new look rather than utilize that code and put it into a content management system? That's what you got to really make your decision. Would you agree, John?
Yeah, I think it's going to be easier if you put it in a content management system ultimately. So that's probably the best way.
Hey, folks, too, feel free to come up.
Yeah.
Oh, we got John.
Just ask you that.
There, guys. Is that okay for now?
Yeah, sure.
So what I'm trying to do is it's for internet show. And what happened is it's a pretty popular show, and all around the internet, people are doing like Tumblrs and Twitter feeds, and we want to make a site where everyone could just get all of the links at one place that are based on the show, So I started over. It's going to be from scratch. It'll be basically I'll play with it on my, server space, but it'll go to a whole new domain and everything. And I wanted to just be most of the people use phones, for this show and stuff. Yeah. So responsive, like if my other site is responsive, that's great. I never even knew what it was until the other day, so that's good. I want to basically have a header, maybe some type, and then like different different links to Tumblrs, but I don't just want to be a link. I'm probably gonna have a picture and a little bio or something, and why you should click on this and stuff. So I was really looking for like a simple theme. I did like what someone put in there, the theme, responsivetheme.com, where I could build my own theme. I never tried that. I could probably do that. But a really good, like I went into one theme last night and I didn't realize, but then it wanted pro version upgrade. I didn't really want to get into all that, since it's not my site and stuff, but maybe a good theme to start with.
Yeah, well, the only thing I would say about that, John, because it's a strange situation, and I don't know if John Locke's going to agree with this. The actual technology to make a site responsive, it's basically a bit of CSS called break clauses, and basically they just say, look at this piece of CSS when we get to this size screen,
right,
and then do this. Or if you get to like the size of an iPhone, look at this code and act on it. But if you don't get to this size, don't take any notice of it. And basically, it's not that hard to do. What the hard bit is the pre-planning, because you got to work out how the text images, and it depends on how complicated your site is, about how much pre-planning. And a lot of people, like a lot of things in life, John, They don't like doing a lot of pre-planning
Right.
because it's a bit boring.
Yeah.
So they tend to just jump in. So that it's the planning part. Would you agree with that, John Locke?
Yeah, I think like a lot of sites even now are still designed kind of desktop first. So if you've got an existing site, or if you're planning on doing one, and you have kind of like the desktop version of it, like planned out like on in Photoshop or on paper or whatever, or in your mind, you also have at the same time have to think about, okay, now what do I want this to look like when I get to tablet and phone sizes? How are these pieces of the page, like how are these like elements on the page where are they gonna go? So once you have that, you can definitely, make that happen with CSS. Now, if you just want to find like a simple like theme and just drop your content into it, you could definitely do that. Most of pretty much like every theme that comes out like nowadays is responsive. So it's just a matter of finding one that does what you need it to do without being like overly complicated. So
hey, what's the name of your show? What's the name of the show?
Oh, the name of the show is sort of infamous. It's Kermit and Friends. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
Say again.
You ever hear Kermit and Friends?
We'll look it up.
Yeah, they were on here. They were on here last night. Tonight, they did a show here last night. But they usually do it on Spreecast. It's a girl named Elisa and this guy Benji, and they're both from the Howard Stern show.
Oh wow! So, this is really growing. Some neat things are happening. Yeah, I found the Facebook site.
It's exciting. Say it again.
I think I found the face. Is this the Facebook site? Is it KIMMITT? No, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
You have any links to drop in?
Yeah, sure. Let me see.
It's always good to see what the product is.
If you look at the homepage, I think that you're going to see last night's show. Let me see if I can find it.
That's good. So how do you spell it?
KERMIT and Friends. So just like the Muppets. Kermit is her dog, though.
There it is. Spreecast,
yes. That's the platform that it runs Monday to Friday from 7 to whenever, but it's usually about 9. And it does pretty good, and we're trying to grow it, So there was a site that was attached to it, and they had a disagreement, so I'm trying to make a site for her and not get too crazy with it. The thing is, we have a guy working on some stuff, but it's going slow. He's doing it like a Java and all this stuff. So I said maybe I can throw up a splash page you could point to until he gets done. So it's supposed to be a quick thing, like a few days and stuff. So and it'll be small enough that if I do it wrong, I can redo it.
Very good.
Yeah, and they were on here so every Friday night at 9:30 they do a show here too. They get about 50, 60 people there and about 80, 90 people on Spreecast. And then she's going to start charging for replays and stuff. She's charging now, but she's going to have a subscription. The one good thing about Spreecast is it has monetization built in. They have commercials, they have donate, and they also have you could charge for your replays. It's like...
Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from, John, because they offer all that functionality, but it's always a tricky one, John, because my opinion about this, John, is do as much as you can with this platform, but don't over invest with it. What I mean by that, you're going to get to a situation where you're going to want to do something and this platform isn't going to let you do it. And you're going to have to look to move to either WordPress or Drupal, where you've got more control over a specific thing. So I think these kind of hosted, where they offer these additional functionality, are really attractive, and you should use them, but be a bit wary about over investing in them. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, well, I'm going to do it in WordPress for sure. I've installed it. I'm ready to go. So I believe in WordPress. It's the open architecture. you know, that Tenio site was like 2013 or something. It took me a long time, but I got it modified the way I wanted to look. And then the thing that's hard with me with WordPress, I'm doing WordPress, and I also have a form that's PHPBB, and it's like I go back and forth. I'm like, how do I do this again? But I can't just do stuff, unfortunately, like off the top of my head. I always seem to have to research because, you know, none of it's that natural. And I know that what CSS is, and I go into those files and stuff, but I'm usually going in following someone's instructions, like from a help, like go in and modify this. I don't understand it to the point where I'm like, I know what this all is now, you know. So I have to get better on that. I guess I could hire someone too. That's my
and you know the great thing with WordPress, and I don't know if John Locke would agree with this, is that when it comes to membership, you know, Bill, you know, keeps saying what is the best WordPress membership solution, and I keep saying to Bill, it depends on what you want to do and what you know, what key functionality you're looking for. And Bill gets a bit frustrated because he keeps getting the same response from me. But that is the truth, John, is that there's over a dozen, probably even more, WordPress membership plugin systems. And a lot of them are excellent. So you're in a nice position of having a lot of good quality choice, John.
Let me ask you a question. Like when I first did my site, I think it's 2 years ago. It was all, you know, I was recommended. It was all open architecture. It was all free. I never saw anything come up as a charge. But now, as I went in last night and I installed a new WordPress on my GoDaddy account. I saw a lot more things being charged for. So is it no longer that, or there's just people that are getting in front of it and trying to offer easy solutions?
Can you say that again? I'm sorry. You lost me there a little bit.
So when I first did WordPress a couple of years ago, it just seemed to be free, of course, just like PHPBB. And I didn't see a lot of things asking for money. But last night on my new install, I noticed there was a lot more places where things are asking for money. Like GoDaddy had all themes that were going to be charged. And I'm like, I know there's free themes. Like most people would have just, you know, so with Bill saying stay away from that, I think.
Yeah, well, I think you're covering quite a lot of points here. But firstly, I would not utilize, I think GoDaddy as a domain register are excellent.
Right.
I think I would not use them as a hosting provider in any shape or form. If I was forced to use them as a hosting provider, I certainly wouldn't utilize their. I know it's extreme, especially if you're new to WordPress. I personally would not utilize their quick install mechanism, which you can utilize through their custom interface.
Right.
I've never been a fan of that. You know, but I understand why people. What's your position about that, John Locke?
Say it one more time.
I don't think I would not recommend GoDaddy as a hosting provider, and I wouldn't utilize whoever the hosting provider was, their quick install WordPress scripts. I always preferred to upload
manually do it. Yeah.
Are you in agreement with that, John Locke?
Yes, I'm in agreement with that. Definitely, if you're looking for a good WordPress host, the ones I would recommend would be, if you don't have like a ton of money, I would use SiteGround. But if you can afford like $30 a month, I'd use either WP Engine or Flywheel. So
they're all good. I might add, John, I'm totally biased because we offer through my company, we offer hosting, but we do it through DigitalOcean, which is a VPS system, and we just manage it for people.
Right.
So all the ones that John Locke mentioned, I wouldn't have any hesitation of recommending either. But when it comes to the themes, John, I personally think you get, you know, there are some nice free themes. I would never use any of the themes that a hosting provider gives you.
Jonathan, we still have other questions coming up here. So, John, we're going to go on. Come back next week, and we'll answer more questions. But one thing I did want to mention is,
very much, guys.
one thing I didn't want to mention is, you know, you should definitely keep your domains, like GoDaddy is a good place to keep your domains and then point them or DSN them over. But I actually have the reseller account that I bought. I have so many domains. I bought my own reseller account, which uses the back engine of GoDaddy without all the upsells. It's a great deal. It's under $10 a year for your domain. You host it through mine, and it's done for.
How many have you got
50,
now?
But I also have other people now who are signing on because it's under $10 a year, and there's no marketing, no upsells or anything. And I put the link in there.
Well, that's a great reason to use it anyway, isn't it, Bill? Because if you tend to go through GoDaddy, they just pester you to death, don't they? You know,
and I like it. It's just a simpler panel. It uses the back engine. The customer support is excellent. So, and it's just mainly to point those domains. But the top thing that you guys probably see too is the businessmen and women who don't have any background in websites. I seen them actually lose their domains or not maintain them. I just had a big band lose a domain, and they came to me and said, "Oh, we lost our domain. We have to buy it." But they want $1,500 to buy it back.
Said fork it over.
That's cheap, man. Buy it.
What's the next question?
Here's another question. We got. Let me go down. I'm trying to get the order here because here's the first one. Here's one we had right here. Let's see. You guys want to read that?
Yeah. So Monty Henry.
Come on up, Monty. Too.
I did see this. Yeah. He said, "This is my website, dpl-surveillance-equipment.com." And he said, what's wrong with my site? So I'm gonna put this link in here really quick.
All right.
That was me.
So looks like you're probably doing fine, like business wise. But your site needs to be mobile friendly. And I put a link in here, like I did the Google mobile friendly test on yours, like on the phone. It is.
Oh man.
No, do not laugh. Do not laugh. I mean, this is the thing.
Sorry, I just looked at him. It's a good site to look at.
Yeah, you're terrible.
It's good. I mean, he's making more money.
Yeah, no. I mean, and don't laugh. I mean, because it's a legitimate question. One thing that I would do, Monty, is if you can, is maybe invest in like a like a more modern design. And the reason I say that is I don't know, like off the top of my head, like what your the websites of your competitors look like. But I do know that there's like a lot of industries where website innovation is not like there. And your industry might be similar to that.
Yeah.
In that the other surveillance equipment websites might not be modern. So I think for you, this is a real opportunity. That could be like a total opportunity to excel and be above like the rest of your competition. So I definitely, the first thing I would do, make sure you're mobile friendly. Maybe invest in like a more modern design, because I think that's going to like generate like more trust of people to that just find you.
Well, it's not only that, John. He's leaving a lot of money on the table because it's not responsive, is it, John? So, and a lot of people, are going to be using a tablet and a phone, and they're not going to get a great experience at the present moment with that website, are they, John?
Most definitely. And people are, if they're on their phone, like looking for information, I mean, the easier they can read it and the easier that they can, just navigate the site, the better that's going to be for your business overall.
Yeah. The good news is, with a bit of work, you could make a lot more money, couldn't you?
Let me mention something here. Both of these guys, on the business side out here, but here's the real pros on building your websites and fixing that. One thing he does have, he's got tons of content, and I'll tell you what, you're in a great industry too. I'm going to add a little story here because we have a real estate show. One of the things that's starting to happen in real estate is everyone's got these cams inside their house. And when you sell a house, it's great to put a couple of cams in them. So go out to your real estate agents, sell them on the idea, or rent them the cams, so they can have them in their listing so they know the security. Plus, it's legal to listen in on what's going on, I guess, because sometimes people discuss if they like the house and start talking about buying it in your house. And you're recording it. So I don't know what the laws are, but that's starting to happen.
Yeah, I think it varies.
I'm saying by state, but no, followed by state. But think about that. You're in a great industry. I should set this around Reno.
Well, I think what the point initially made is really very constructive. Is that you've got a lot of content, and normally most people don't have. That's the thing they really struggle with. So you're in a good position to make this site, more modern and make it truly responsive. And you've got a lot of content. So Bill's spot on.
And sorry to giggle about it, but it's you've done a lot of work and you got a good company. I can tell you're making more than me, I'm sure.
You were evil there, Bill. John was right to pull us up there. You were being a bit nasty there.
I just hadn't seen a site like that.
You were being a bit nasty.
I mean, you put a lot of money and time into the site.
Where's my goat? I'm going to put my goat image up.
Don't do the goat. Don't do the goat.
I'm going to bring the bloody goat back.
The goat. But anyway, it's a good site, and I'm come up and tell us how you're doing. I love entrepreneurs and business guys. I mean, gosh, there's a lot to this. I'm sorry, I just hadn't seen. I mean, it hasn't.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean that's common though. There's a lot of industries where the websites are. They're. I mean, to put it blunt, they're still kind of like old. They're still stuck in the year 2000, and that's just there are a lot of industries like that. So
it needs a.
Well, we see that's the only problem with the WordPress community. I love it, but you tend to get in a bit of a bubble, don't you, John? You see all these fantastic websites from these developers, but the reality of the real world is a bit different, isn't it, John?
And Monty, like as far as your like SEO, I mean, I don't know like how you're doing for your region or for your area. It's probably gonna like come up like different for us like than it is for you, but
he's got tons of content, John. He's got a whole video library of little videos. He's got tons of
and he's on social like everywhere too, which is really good. So he's doing a lot of things right. I think if you just polish up that, get your website polished up and have it be like best in class compared to your other competitors, I think you'll do really good. And I think Google will reward you too, because definitely.
Oh yeah. I think the presence is, I don't know the precise position, John, but non-responsive sites are now getting pretty.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that like more and more. Like the non-responsive sites are taking a hit in the rankings.
So it's good news and bad news, Monty. If you get on with it, I think you're going to do really well. But you got tons of content.
Hey, there's Antonio. Is Antonio still up? Hey, Antonio, haven't seen you in a while. Good friend of mine. He's a Marine. He is into style. So, Antonio, why don't you come up and critique our style? I think we're a little out of style. He's from New York. And
we need more websites.
We'll check his website. Antonio, I think he just left after I said that.
Give us your website.
Antonio is very successful. He just was in and out of New York City. He's a designer, former Marine, very active in social media. And I'd love to see his website. I think I can find it.
Come on,
I got time for like one more question, and then I got to cut out and do something else.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Something else, John? Something else, John?
Huh?
So you mean something else?
Yeah.
You gotta do work. What do you have to do? Hang out on a computer?
He's got to make his living.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
It does take time, doesn't it? It really sucks your time. It can suck time.
No, I love doing this. I actually kind of like this Saturday thing of like critiquing people's websites and like helping them and answering their questions. I think this is like a good thing.
Hey, we have another question.
Come on, folks.
We got this question.
Give us
Don Pengully of Dueling Designs says, I want to have two graphics on the same page and have readers vote for their favorite through sharing to social media and a total share count. I tried to do this using a Monarch plugin to do this, but I can't get the on media buttons to be on two photos on the same page. So a Monarch plugin. Do you have like the link to that? Because this really sounds like custom work.
Yeah, drop the link in.
Yeah, this really sounds like kind of like a custom development thing. This definitely doesn't sound.
What was coming to my mind was doing something with Gravity Forms, and you would have to be able to customize Gravity Forms, but I have done it where you could do something. Then there's another plugin that enables you to do more kind of customize the Gravity Forms.
Yeah, like kind of a so here's a question.
Widgets. This is the business guy. Widgets, 2 widgets.
Yeah. So definitely, and there are things in Gravity Forms that you could probably like tweak. You would probably need someone to help you do it though. Stuff like a poll, like add-on, like you're doing a poll.
Yeah, they've got a nice one, haven't they? They have got a poll extra. What about? I can never pronounce them. Ninja
Forms. Yeah.
Ninja. I never bloody pronounce it correctly. They got a load of paid add-ons. They probably got something as well.
That's another thing. Voting is getting really popular. Polling's getting huge. It's a good thing to do.
So maybe Dawn, look at the Gravity Forms. I know they got a poll extra.
Yeah, I think what you would have to do is basically you'd probably have to make like a custom form for each one. So I don't know how often you want to do this. If you're doing one like each day, one each week, or so.
You might be lucky and find somebody that's got in the depository a plugin, but I can't. But I can't think of one.
Okay, so Don says
Pollmaker.com.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, that might do it.
Is that a plugin? What is that? That's SaaS. It's a SaaS.
Oh, it is?
It looks like a SaaS to me.
Right.
Let me just take a look.
Is that SaaS?
I'll be surprised if there ain't some WordPress plugins that can do
it sounds like a little complicated. It's kind of like that one website Polar was for a while. So,
I think the Gravity Forms plugin sounds like the way to do it. And you could actually have someone do some custom work and give you a bid to put that into your site.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're talking, a ridiculous sum of money if they can use.
Okay, once a month. Yeah, that seems doable.
And they could set it up. Once they get it set up, they could learn how to set it up themselves. Because you don't have to buy the Gravity Forms plugin if you have a developer put it in for you. Because they have developer licenses.
No, I've got, John.
But then you got to make sure that they're always renewing their license too. So. That might be good to have your own license.
Well, now if you put you can put the license number in that, can't you? If you as a developer on your site.
No, but like once a year you got to renew it.
Yeah, but you're the developer who renews it.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, is if you're the client, you're relying on your developer to always renew it. So,
right. But it saves you a ton of money. You don't have to. That's the idea.
Sure.
You're in business to serve your client, and that is true.
Oh no. I do know what you're saying, but yeah, as so long as you're like always in touch with your developer.
Yeah. I know a friendly maintenance company that can do that for you, Bill. As long as you keep having to maintain your website.
Well, not maintain.
Okay. So looking for someone who does like custom work. I do know someone who does like custom. Let me find him really quick. There's a guy who does custom Gravity Forms who's like really good at
Gravity Forms.
Yeah.
Jonathan, do you do any custom Gravity Forms?
Yeah, my developers.
Oh, your developers do it. You have a developer team. Jonathan has a SaaS company that he loves. He just loves his SaaS company. He's put so much money into it. And he's so happy.
I'm not so happy. I've not made any real substantial money from it. I'm still in hope. I'm still in hope. But no, I've got some excellent WordPress developers.
And Jonathan,
so I know throw your link in there. Here's a guy who does custom Gravity Forms. I don't know what his rates are, but this is a guy in the WordPress space. You might get him on your...
This may be a quick one on and off. Let's see. Let me look at his background here. Hello?
Yeah.
You have a question on WordPress?
Can I speak?
Go ahead. Okay, if we're broken, I'm going to hang up on you.
Oh, hello everybody here. How is it?
Good. Are you checking on WordPress question?
I can't
Okay,
hear
bye. You got to say goodbye sometimes because, if somebody has WordPress, that's one thing. If they're just testing their site, there's a lot of test sites on Blab you can go to. But that said, this WordPress world is about building teams and people and graphics and putting it together, almost like building a house. You find,
Oh, he's very
No,
determined, Bill.
He can leave a message.
He can leave a message.
He can leave a message, and then I'll bring him up. But yeah, the word of WordPress is fascinating, and WordPress seems to be getting stronger this year a lot. You know, everything that's going on. That's a good question about the polling, because polling is huge.
Yeah, there must be. I'm going to have to do some research. I think that could be a topic for a good episode.
Next month, not February, March. Maybe we'll talk about polling and some of the other things we can do.
Because there must be some good solution. I can't. What anything comes to your mind, John, about polls and that type of thing in WordPress? Have you worked with any plugins?
What I've done, like in I did. I should probably write a tutorial on this, like someday. I did do a custom work on Gravity Forms before with a poll, but it was more setting up kind of like star ratings. So, I mean, there are ways that you can customize like the different add-ons that come with Gravity Forms, but it's just it's more just like knowing what you can do with it and knowing if it's a good fit for what you're trying to do. So
I'm getting to like, I own a developer contract, but I'm getting to really like Gravity Forms. I mean, it's a lot, you don't learn this stuff overnight. It's just inch by inch, you pick up a little bit more. Yeah. And I stuck with Gravity. You might, folks, if you're going to really be serious about your business, get with a developer or something, maybe buy some of your key plugins. Or if you have a good developer,
it's actually, Bill, it's a really difficult one, because it's not exactly a criticism of Gravity Forms, but to get their add-ons, you got to buy the developer's license. Where the other one, which I can never pronounce,
Form 7 is Form 7.
No, Ninja Forms. You get it for free, and then you can buy individual plugins. If you've got a specific task, where with Gravity, you only get the additional functionality if you buy the development's license, which is still excellent value, but it's not cheap.
You know what,
John?
So I mean, it depends. I mean, it's like $200. It like covers you for the year, and I mean, it's just an investment in your business, like to be able to do stuff like that. I mean, it isn't cheap. But again, it's an investment. So, I mean, if it gives you like a much quicker, if it solves your problem like in a much quicker way than you could come up with on your own, then, I mean, it's totally worth it. So.
They've been a bit shy today, John. Where somebody's put a free poll plugin for WordPress.
Yeah, Eric Game Changer is giving us some links here. WordPress.org, WP polls.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
See, where is it? Oh yeah, they did. You know what though? You need to put a little space in there, and that would have highlighted the link. Yeah. You got to sometimes put spaces when you put the notes in here. Let me see if this works down here. There you go. So you can hit that link. Yeah. Hey, a couple of things before we finish up, John. I know you have to go. Yesterday's interview, we on Timelines. I just dropped it in there. And I interviewed Lauren Starr. Lauren's doing very well in speaking, but she spent $10,000 on her website. And Jonathan, we reviewed that a couple of weeks ago, and that's how she came up on the show. But she's very happy. But one thing I would say, though, maybe you don't have to spend $10,000 if you're sort of a halfway to do it. But I was thinking about this, and Jonathan, I do think you have a great product, that maintenance product. And I'm not. This is as a commercial, but not a commercial. At some point, you want to get with a developer, whoever it is, and get a maintenance account, whether it's $50 a month, whatever it is, where they answer 3 or 4 questions or fix your stuff for free. A known cost, because generally your website doesn't go bad. And also use their developer licenses. They're more expanded, they're more in detail, and they're paid for. I know.
But the funny thing, Bill, is you'd be amazed at the questions me and my team get asked every month. I get asked. Sometimes I think I've been asked for the meaning of the universe. Sometimes I'm always amazed at the questions I get on the Monday. We get asked about SEO, all sorts of stuff. I had one client last week ask me, should he upgrade his computer to 10?
I mean, that's a good question. That's a good question, Jonathan. We're in the business.
Well, I mean, they don't know though. I mean,
Oh yeah,
No,
I
no,
see.
no,
Yeah.
like-
I think
I get
and the
asked
answer's no.
all
The
sorts-
answer's no. If it's your business computer, don't upgrade to 10. If it's your play laptop, yeah, upgrade to 10 and start playing with it.
No, actually, my answer, Bill, was
Buy a new
you know
computer.
have at least 2 backups of everything. And then have a free weekend that you're going to probably utilize your whole weekend. And then
More
he
than
asked
that.
me, and I said, as long as you've got real backups and you got a weekend that you can just piss away, that's fine. Or get somebody local to help you. But I said, don't do anything unless you've got 2 backups that know you can retrieve and get back to. I think it was Windows 7. That was my answer, Bill.
Yeah, Windows 7 is solid right now. I mean, if you're a business, you don't want to be flipping off Windows 7. If you're an accountant, and you're going into tax season, now's not the time to.
No, I wouldn't.
We had John Overall on. John spends about $10,000. He's another good developer out of Canada. He was on last week, and he spends about $10,000 in his developer licenses alone. Plus, he's big into podcasting and netcasting like myself. But
get back to what was the lady that you interviewed and we reviewed her site?
It was if you just go to Timelines of Success, it's the current one. It's up. It's Laura Starr. She's very successful.
Now, to get to your question, Laura's a lovely lady, but John, she didn't have her website developed in WordPress. Goodness gracious!
What was it developed in?
I don't actually know. We need to look at it, Bill.
Can you pull it up right now? It's she's on. I have to pull up her site. I just put in the Timelines. That's her interview. So let me go on the bottom of the page.
But to answer your question, Bill, yes, she got $10,000 worth in her website because they probably did all the a lot of consultation with her, and you can see that it's a professional website.
She told me who did it. It's a New York. New York. She's close to New York, and New York is the hub for this media, and they have speakers bureaus, and she has a manager, so they sort of put it together and work it.
And it's great, Bill, but she didn't have it done in WordPress.
That's the New York way, I think, of some of these industries.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, it's not WordPress.
But look how nice it is. It's very good.
No, it looks good.
But we're WordPress people. We believe in the open source, that it's going to grow and it's going to succeed. In some ways, WordPress it's pretty stable now, but maybe in.
Got any idea, John, what this was done in? Do you think I don't think it's a Joomla. Got any idea what it was done in?
It might be a Joomla, but let me check really quick.
Probably Joomla. And Joomla is no different. I mean, it's different, but it's no better than WordPress. We know that.
Let me take a look.
I wouldn't agree with that, Bill. I've worked many years ago. I worked with Joomla.
Yeah.
I've talked to business owners that have like Joomla sites, and it's like they're frustrated because they have to call their web developer like every single time they, make a little teeny weeny change. So. This might just be like just straight HTML site.
Yeah, it might be because I'm looking at the code, John, and I can't see it.
Yeah, it looks like a flat HTML.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's going through right now and upgrading some of her videos. She's constantly working on it, but it's a nice show. She told me basically she spent the $10,000 and it's paid off really fast with the jobs and the business, and she's very happy what she does.
Oh well, that's great.
If you're going to be a speaker and professional, you have to look the part. You have to spend the time. I mean, you can't be like this. And I ran off my friend here from New York who has a design company because I gave him a hard time about wearing a suit and tie. When he was up there, he's really a big time.
You've been a bit mean
today.
You've been a bit mean. Come on, folks. We've got to finish off here. But got any more websites? We got one of the top web designers in Sacramento here, and I've been around a few.
And next
years,
week we have a real
folks.
treat. A real treat. The owner, Shane, John
Shane,
come up with Shane. Shane's going to be cool.
He's a character, Shane. Shane's a character.
He owns, what's the name of the company? It's a big company. Oh, we gotta get some of these other guys back on, like some of these top guys we've had on, especially on this Blab platform.
But no, he's a character, Shane. He really knows his marketing
He
stuff.
owns a big company too. He's rich too.
Well.
Rich, success, rich.
Come on, folks. Have you got no websites that you want us to?
So I hate question. Who's going to win the Super Bowl tomorrow? Any from out there to the listeners?
Panthers.
Panthers.
And I'll tell you why. Well, part of it too, and here's why. Historically,
you got Broncos.
Peyton Manning is the first quarterback in history to win a Super Bowl with one team and actually take a second team to the Super Bowl. He's actually the first guy to ever do that.
I've got a question here,
But
folks.
I think he's too old. He's too old and beat
I want
up.
to get off the.
He wants to get back. Jonathan's English, so he doesn't care about the Super Bowl.
I don't care.
He doesn't know
About, I've got a question here, folks. Hypno Guru, what's the best calendar which will allow clients to set their own appointments? Well, I use Modern Tribe. I've got a developer license, so I would look at Modern Tribe's solution. But the good news is there's a few good quality calendar systems in there, John.
I could talk about
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Asking for like kind of like more like a booking.
Let me talk about that. I've dealt with
Yeah.
all the last. What's the name of one out of? There's two. Most of them are out of Israel, and I use the one that everyone uses in podcasting is Schedule Once. I had Schedule Once. It's fine. The low end license is really a good deal. It's one track. But the problem is I like to make a lot of different feeds and a lot of customized tracks. So I Visita. But I don't know if Visita is the best, but that's what I use. I'm sort of stuck there. So Visita, that's what I use. If you want to see how it looks, you can go on my site, Timelines of Success. In fact, I'll drop in, show you what. Just don't schedule, please, unless you're going to come up in the show.
Yeah, but I think he's looking at a WordPress solution.
That'd be nice to find a WordPress solution.
But I think he wants people to, I thought Modern Tribe had a add-on that allowed you to do that, but I might be wrong.
Here's my scheduling page right there for my interviews.
So I reread it. So he wants people to be able to schedule appointments.
Yes, that's what you can, on that side I just dropped in. That's what I do, and I've got tons of links with Visita. But Visita is a SaaS. It's not a plugin for WordPress.
Yeah, well, what I would say to you is that I would Hypno Guru is why don't you come on and give us some more details and show you?
Yeah, have them jump in because like this requires like more details.
Come on, join us. We won't eat you.
Hey, I do have another form. I want us to review one last page as we finish up the Super Bowl page. I had it up. I think this is the NFL's official Super Bowl page right here.
Folks.
We can look at the NFL, and I think this is their official page. So as we finish up,
Yeah, let's finish up with this.
what advice would you give the NFL?
Play soccer.
I don't think it's that good looking. It's okay. That's the NFL's official page, Super Bowl 50. It's okay. Play soccer. Is that Jerry Rice? I love Jerry Rice down the right side.
It's safer, Bill.
That's okay.
You don't get your head knocked off.
It's okay. I like football. I played football. My family's big football.
Yeah, probably it shows, Bill.
I did get hit quite a few times in the head. I'm small. I'm a good football player, though.
Explains a lot, Bill.
I saw stars a few times.
Where's my sheep? I'm going to get my sheep on him.
No, not the sheep. By the way, if anything goes wrong with the show, it's Jonathan's
It's always
fault.
my fault, folks.
So John Locke is actually trying to look at this site and give us a good analysis of it. First of all, it's probably not Is it WordPress?
Is this one WordPress?
It's 1 day, 4 hours, 42 minutes for the countdown. By the way, you can watch the Super Bowl streaming live in a lot of different places. You don't have to go just to the TV. You should have something on that.
Could you imagine? I forgot his name. The A to Z to podcast. John. He was on last week. Imagine what his response would be of this website.
No, what would he? Why do you say that?
Well, he was quite cutting on some of his remarks on the politician website.
Oh yeah.
It was.
It's definitely not WordPress. Yeah, I didn't figure it was.
WordPress.
But, yeah.
This is a good example of WordPress though, and it's fast and
It's not WordPress, Bill.
It's not WordPress.
Okay, it's not. I didn't think it was.
And I didn't think it would be, but it's YUI. So
Let's have a look at the code. See.
Yeah.
Let's look at the code.
Yeah.
Let's see what horrendous. That's interesting. All right.
So it's some of the big names. We can't finish this. We got to finish on a WordPress site. Some of the big names that use WordPress. What's a big name? ESPN. Do they use WordPress?
I don't know.
Got any examples? Some big people that use WordPress, John?
ESPN.
I don't know what that. I don't know. I don't know what they're using for their build. Just to give a quick recap, it's not the greatest looking website, is it?
No, ESPN's not that great either.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
It's fine. I've seen a lot worse.
That's the one thing, you're getting these modern designs now with WordPress. They're starting to look really
one
nice.
thing, folks, it's not responsive. I don't think.
Yeah,
no,
the NFL's using Yahoo user interface, so that's what it is. Why UI?
It's not responsive. Oh my gosh, NFL is, man. Maybe you should call them up and try to get a job.
It's come up.
It might do browser sniffing for.
Tim, come on up. You were up for a second. Just reslide. There you go.
Oh, he's up,
Tim.
There we are.
Where are you calling in from?
I'm from Venice, Florida.
Venice, Florida. That's nice. Nice down there. Nice. I almost bought a place once down there. Good. I like your taxes. No tax. No state income tax.
Yeah, I love it. The question that I was having about the calendar, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm a solo practice, and therefore I'm dealing with clients and people are calling in and I'm losing business because they're not able to schedule.
Yeah.
So what it's I'm just you.
Visita would work.
Just you, single location.
Correct.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is
I use Candly as my appointment.
Yeah. This one might work for you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jonathan.
I'm going to put the link in
the
chat now. They do a free version and they do a paid version, and I've been very happy with it. Here's the link. And basically, I found it powerful, flexible, and if you want the paid version, it's not that expensive, and you then you can brand it yourself, which I would imagine you would want to. Mm-hmm. And I've been using it for over a year, and I'm very happy with it. So it's Calendly. The link's there. I put it into chat. So maybe have a look at that. And Bill uses, but your one is really quite powerful. The one you're using, Bill, isn't it?
Mine's huge and powerful. It's a little expensive, and I'm gonna actually probably put it on my. I've got an affiliate account with that, so. I'm going to probably put that up on my affiliate account. I've got mixed feelings. I'm probably going to stick with it. I would like to find a WordPress plugin solution that would do similar stuff.
There must be a WordPress solution, but it doesn't come off mine. But like I say, the one I've put in, I'm going to Timothy, I've been really happy with. So if it kind of meets your requirement, you can set 15, half hour. You can put custom time periods in. It's pretty slick, and like I say, with the pro version, you can put your own logo on it and put some additional custom fields in it. It looks pretty slick to me.
One thing about Visita is they have good customer support. You can call them and they'll work you through anything. But they're huge, but they're expensive, and they do everything. I mean, you can work it. You can actually use part of it as a landing page too.
Oh, we got something here from John Locke. So, what's this one? BirchPress? What's BirchPress, John?
BirchPress, it's basically like a booking. It's basically like for setting appointments and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I have to look at this.
What's it cost?
Is it? It's got like tiers. For it, so you could probably get by with the $100 version.
Okay,
so
Visita is about $125, $135 a year. It's a SaaS, and it integrates, and they'll help you too. And they call them up and boom, boom, boom. But it does take some time, and that's one thing. Anytime you have a new plugin or a new tool on your website, whatever it might be, plan on investing the time to learn the tool.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And then set it up. And if you want to just go look at my timeline. The way it does. Jonathan, I'm going to give us a new link for this show too, the Visita link, I think.
So I think you got some suggestions there. That should take up your whole week of testing.
Come back next week and tell us what you decide to use.
I've already taken up a whole week already, just trying to cipher through everything that's out there.
You say you're in hypnosis?
Yes, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist.
You know what they did in Nevada, which is ridiculous? They outlawed hypnosis in here. They had licenses. They actually so you have to have work under a doctor now. And then we have a lot of performers in Las Vegas and here in Reno, Nevada, and they got a special license to hypnotize people on stage. But man, it finally got overturned, I think. But it basically was the doctors trying to run out. It was terrible.
Yep, money talks.
Yeah. So
yeah, Nevada's a funny place, isn't it, Bill?
It is.
You have all these licenses for everything. Literally, you got a license for everything.
You got to remember, the mafia ran this place for a long time, the whole state. And honestly, it did, and they busted it. I know one of the FBI agents who busted the mafia here. He lives down in San Diego, and he works for another business and comes in and out. He's retired now, but it's an interesting state, and all our laws are sort of tied into these weird.
So, Timothy, you're going to give us your URL to your website so we can have a quick look at it. We'll finish off with your website.
You come and hit.
Mine is definitely.
Put it in chat, can you? Put the URL in chat, can you?
You might be a candidate if we get you a mic. If you get an ATR 2100 or a little bit better mic, you might want to be a candidate for Timelines. It sounds like an interesting interview. Anytime you're running a business,
he can hypnotize you, Bill. You need calming down. you need calming down, Bill. So let's have a look.
Remember, it's his fault.
My website is definitely a project right now, so
right.
A lot there to be done.
Here you
go. So, are you doing it in WordPress?
Yes, it is a WordPress.
That it is right there. We'll pull it up. We could analyze it.
Yeah, let's have a look.
It's not bad. You've got a place to sign up. You know what? Sometimes that's good enough to start. I mean, that's your business. You don't want to. I mean, it works. Let's see if it's responsive. It is responsive, so it's better than the NFLs.
So, what's your thoughts, John?
I like that picture of the girl with the glass. What's
your thoughts, John?
Oh, yeah, I had to read the text to understand the girl with the glass, but yeah.
I like your site. It's got everything in there. It's got your bio. Did you make this yourself or work with somebody?
Yes.
You did a good job.
I went to YouTube and learned as much as I could.
Yeah, you did a great job. You got a blog on there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. A good site.
Yeah, I think it's simple and it's right to the point. I think it's good because it's like not overly it's not overly cluttered, it's not overly complicated. It just has what it needs to have. So
yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a start. I mean, you've got that basic down. You can do anything. Just slowly sort of integrate in some type of a scheduling system.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, that plugin you mentioned might be better for this site initially. It has a free element too, right? Do the free thing first and play with them.
Yeah, you could have the link, have a button, custom link, and it would take them. And I think that the paid for the initial tier isn't that expensive, and I'll probably go for the paid one because you can brand it with your own logo and that. And I think it'd be a good solution.
What is that again, Jonathan? That paid plugin?
No, the service that I use, it's Candle.
Oh, it's Candle. It's not a plugin, though. Okay.
It's a service.
I've got the CETA, so I know which one you have, too. I've seen
I think it's a good start. I'm not too sure about the woman on the home page.
I like the woman.
I'm not too sure about that. Maybe it's just...
I've had mixed reviews about her.
Go ahead and you guys look at this and look at this business, because this is a good one to finish up on today.
But on the other hand, it's a certain striking image.
I like the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes, the evil eyes.
Look into my eyes. I knew it right away.
Look into my eyes.
About that for hypnosis.
What was the name of that? I apologise, Timothy. I really apologise for this. Every time I think of hypnosis, I think of Jungle Book and that snake. What was the name of the snake?
Oh, God.
I was
right?
Look into my eye.
Timothy, you don't look like a snake.
No, I wasn't saying that.
Do you get most of your business by referral, or are they looking for a hypnotherapist?
I'm trying to build a referral because that's the easiest, but most people find me over the internet.
Really? That's good to know.
Good.
That's really interesting. Wow. And then you for local area, Florida?
Well, what I'm trying to do is I can do online sessions as well. So I'm building that as we speak.
Yeah. This is really changing really fast. It's virtual. And are you using Zoom by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Zoom. I should ask you what platform. Zoom is a great platform.
Mm-hmm. It's HIPAA compliant, so I'm not required necessarily to have a HIPAA compliance, but so if somebody wanted to do something over Skype, I can do that. But if they wanted the security of it, we can definitely go that way.
Explain HIPAA for the listener.
Oh, explain HIPAA if you could.
HIPAA. It's HIPAA.
HIPAA.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the security requirements for medical providers.
Right. Health, because it's privacy issue.
Yeah,
that's what Zoom. Actually, I'm one step away from the owner of Zoom.
Yep. One thing you might, I don't know if John agrees with this. Are you reasonably active on social media?
Yes.
You don't seem to have a lot of ability for people to connect with you on the website and social media that much.
No, I didn't see any icons. That's a good one.
You really should look at that. There's a number of plug-in solutions.
That's easy.
I don't know a bit. I mean, I don't know necessarily that like people would like that are searching for a hypnotherapist would be like trying to connect. Like they might follow him.
Yeah, true.
They might not necessarily like have conversations with him.
No, that's true.
A Facebook page would be simple though.
That might be good.
You have to have, and that plus you can find where you are if you go on to Google. You're registered on Google, so you have a Google location.
Yes.
And then you have the Facebook page, and you get those couple of things in your set. Maybe
the other thing I think you got to look at. I think it's a really good start. I think you need to fill it out a bit more with content. When you build it out a little bit, I think you got to look at trying to get people's name and email, and offer a really good offer something. It's getting harder and harder to get people's. But think of something, some initial inducement that people are really interested in to try and get their name and email. And I know you've got to invest time in it, and then produce something every month. You can talk about all sorts of things around your profession.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something you definitely got to look at. What do you reckon, John?
Yeah, I think more success, like as many success stories as possible. And definitely because people see themselves in those stories. So as many of those as you could, put up there. I would definitely do that because
testimonials, videos would be good on your testimonials too, if the clients will do.
I think because of the nature, like what he does, like
if they were somewhat.
I don't know. I mean, if you could get like a video testimonial, that might be good. But
good quick smoking video, how that worked.
That might be good. Yeah.
Weight loss. Yeah. People do testimonials and all those things.
Do you use?
I do have a sort of a testimonial video. There's a link for what to expect, and there's a video there from one of the clients. But in the same respect, it's very difficult to get people to discuss their issues because not only do I deal with the smoking and the weight loss, I'm dealing with erectile dysfunction, cancer, anxiety, things of that nature, and folks aren't necessarily wanting to even write a testimony, much less put their face to it.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking was more of you talking to the camera. Have you got an active YouTube channel, and have you been doing about the different things that you can help with? Have you been doing that at all?
I do have a channel. I just started that out. I have maybe 2 videos. One is a relaxation technique.
Yeah, Bill, can you tell him about your friend, the insurance guy?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Just he's done everything online.
Mike, is it Mike?
Mike Sheehan, yeah.
Can you tell him about how he utilizes YouTube?
He's got a lot of YouTube stuff. He just does a lot of short clips. He does a lot on YouTube. He's gone all online in the last 10 years on real estate. And it's Mike Sheehan. He has a landing page only. It's a little bit different than what you're doing. I have friends in the state who are in hypnosis and performers. Matter of fact, my wife just sold a house for one of them. My wife's a real estate broker here. And I know your industry is really unique, and it's really evolving. But if you can start doing more YouTube and talking about it, I'm the same way. Jonathan, one thing I just did, and I'm going to do it after this, is I'm making a new screen flow to tell people how to do an interview on timelines.
See, one thing you've got to do, Timothy, is you've got to do a bit of SEO research.
Yeah.
You can use Google AdWords, and they provide a free tool. See which terms are being looked for, and then have the video about the subject where it's getting a reasonable monthly traffic.
Yep.
And make sure your video title matches the search title.
Yep. And, you
and then you could probably build, but it won't happen overnight. But like what Bill uses, evergreen, and it's true. It's evergreen that will consistently, and you must have the link back to your website, and maybe, and then you can have a pop up that offers something extra around the subject, or you can look at things like that.
Jonathan, if you Google timelines of success, just straight Google that, just to Google the words, you'll sort of see some of the things, the magic start happening with the blast.
But you got to do some basic SEO research, because you got to find the titles and name your title. Something which I do not do myself, and you could criticize me. Sorry, John, go on.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please finish, Jonathan. I just said something.
No, they were my semi words of wisdom, John.
Timothy, are you using both the Yoast plugin and the all-in-one SEO plugin?
Do you use both of them together?
You mustn't do that.
I have gone back and forth as to which I've used. I don't remember what I'm using right now. I've made several changes.
I would just pick one or the other and use that. With the Yoast, you have the open graph content like already supplied. So, I mean, that would be the one that I would probably stick with.
Okay.
One thing that I'm noticing, you're doing really well for SEO in Venice, Florida. I mean, you're top in the 3-pack, and I think you're number 3 in the organic results below that. But one thing that, what is the biggest city next to you?
Sarasota, Florida.
Sarasota.
Okay. So do you get a lot of business from there, or?
I do get comparable amount of business from that location, but a lot of it is due to the fact that I'm networking out in that area as well.
Okay.
Who are you using for provider?
So if you're doing that, I'm pretty sure this is what John was going to say to you. If that's the case, I would get, you can't use a PO box. That's not going to help you. And this is probably going to, unless you've got a friend, you need in that town, that city near to you, you need to get a physical address. You need a physical address. And then you could set up, you could say you've got a subsidiary office, and Google will then, if you set up your Google local page, you set it up, as long as you've got the physical address, they will probably rank you in that other city and show you up. Would you agree with that, John? Or
that's one thing that you can do. The other thing that you can do, I don't know, how far are you from? Oh, okay, so you're down the road. You're down Highway 41. How many miles are you from Sarasota?
I would say maybe 20.
Okay. The other thing that you can do, and this is relatively new, is you can set a service radius on your business if you can't get a physical presence in Sarasota, is set a physical radius of your service area. One other thing that I would do if I were you, when I'm looking at the source code of your page, is you've got the meta description here, where it just is offering a full line of hypnotherapy services, and that's being supplied by the all-in-one. And then you've got keywords, and search engines really don't use the keyword tag.
Oh, okay.
But then we've also got a description being supplied by Yoast.
Yeah,
and
it's not helping, is it?
No. But I'll tell him. The Yoast description, it's basically all the words on the page. So for your homepage, I would, make it like less than 160 characters or so, but say, offering a full line of hypnotherapy services in Sarasota, Florida, and Venice, Florida, and something like that. And that will tell the search engines that you're in a specific like geolocation. And because I see you coming up like high for Venice, but not so much for Sarasota, like in organic search. So
when you were telling me to set the service radius, how would I go about doing that? Would it just be like what you just said for me to do, or do I need to go somewhere else to do that?
Yeah, it would be like in your Google Plus page.
Yeah. It's your Google Plus page.
Yeah, let me find a link, and there's a better way to do that.
And do put some of your posts on your Google Plus page, and put some of the videos. Also, put some of the videos on there. Oh, he's gone. I think we scared him off.
Well, he's gone. He's a good candidate for a Timelines interview because that'll give.
Oh, before we finish, John, I've got a question myself.
Sure.
I'm looking for a good WordPress plugin for that can set up a library, a video library, and it's got to work with Whistler, the video people.
Nice.
Okay.
Got any come to fault?
No, I can look into it for you though. Like
next week.
Yeah,
I'm
looking at a couple. I'm looking at one from the people that do Opt-in Monster. They do one, and it does, but it's 70. I did find a 25% token, so it starts at 100 because I can't use the basic for the Whistler, and it goes down to $75. But there's Woofu, FOO. They do a library one, and I think it does. I'm checking that out. It's free, and I think it does work with Whistler, so I might look at that one as well.
So what's the purpose? Is this just like putting videos up, or are they behind like a paywall or something?
I've got my job for this afternoon and for tomorrow. Well, tomorrow I've got to finish off my notes for this thing, and then get it sent off to my. That's my job this afternoon. I've got a couple of small maintenance jobs to do, but tomorrow it's for mail rights. I want to do my job tomorrow is to start doing a series of training videos and then put them on the mail rights site in a library, so I can send people to learn how to utilize mail right. I should have done it quite a while ago, but I didn't get around to it. And I've been in the day. I spend most of my days showing agents how to use it, so it's going to save me a freaking lot of time. Because
Jonathan, you have to get out of that. You have to have someone doing that, so you're doing the backside because you.
I'm doing it. Yeah, you're right, Bill. Because I'm getting busy with WP Tonic, and I just cannot spend all this time with these agents showing them how it works. So that's what I'm planning to do, John.
Okay. I'll research into it.
Hey, real fast before you leave, Jonathan, I do want. Here's a request for both of you. I just want to show I am the least experienced WordPress person here, about 2 years, but I've got a lot of background in design build engineering.
You're getting pretty experienced, Bill. You know to knock it around.
I like it, but I want to show you what I did last. Here's what I'm doing this week, folks. I'm trying to make it simple for people to get on my daily show. My daily show is paying big dividends, by the way. No one's doing a live daily show and putting it up on podcasts.
Yeah, nobody's mad enough, Bill.
I know. It's 4.5 hours. I'm trying to streamline it and making things simpler as possible. And this is going to go up today. This will be up today soon. It'll be up on YouTube right away, and it'll be up tonight on iTunes. Jonathan, we need to talk offline about WP Tonic and how we're going to, it's going up tonight on iTunes, usually at midnight. So on WP Tonic, but do you have the show notes for this one done? Okay.
I've got the show up. I'm just going to cut a little bit and just put that up, but it will be done by this afternoon. So it will be ready for you tonight.
You're putting I'm sure you're putting Blab shows up on your blog. Oh yeah. I put Blab on blog. I have it on experimental sites. The guy, I just got a question here. I want to answer this question real fast. On Blab, I've got an experimental site called ublabcast.com. And what it does, it automatically posts it through a plugin, ublabcast.com, which is kind of fun. But it also puts all the notes, but it slows down, that plugin slows down the site a little bit on the loading. It takes 14 seconds to load all of the Blab crap. excuse me, but the page itself loads, but the blab loads last because it's at the bottom of the CSS. Is it CSS or PHP? The bottom. It's at the bottom of the page. But so anyway, you Blabcast is the guy just asked a question real fast. I assume you put.
I just want to say to folks, we'll be doing this at 9 a.m. on every Saturday. You come with your questions and don't be shy in asking us to review your site. John's hopefully going to join. He's not going to join us every Saturday, but when he's free,
I'll do as many as I can.
Yeah, because he has to make his living like us all. Basically, if you want any advice, I'm available at jonathan@wp-tonic.com. Go to WP Tonic. Do a search for WP Tonic. If you've got any questions, just go to the contact us. I answer all the questions myself. Anybody contacts us, you need any help with WordPress, we're here for you. And that's it, really.
Locke, you get to give your contact.
Yeah, go on, give you a spiel, John.
Oh, my spiel. Oh, anyway, yeah. In case you didn't know, I'm John Locke. I run a one-person studio called Lockdown Design out of Sacramento, California, and you can find me at lockdowndesign.com. I'll throw that in the thing, and you can follow me on Twitter, lockdown_. I'm Bill
Conrad, Timelines of Success, timelinesofsuccess.com. I'm working on online training programs and systems and processes. I've got a course coming up. I do work here locally on streaming video media for politicians. And I'm also working on a course, a $5 course called, it's going to be basically how to use Blab and stream like we're doing here. It's a $5 online course. But eventually I'm going to a Netcasting 101, netcasting101.com for more of the social media, how we put it all together. And I'm a big believer more and more in you've got to get the right people in the right places if you want to build a company. You need to know about WordPress, but you don't need to do it all yourself. But you do need to know something about it. So without that, thank you, everybody. This is an excellent show. Next week, Jonathan, next week we have Sean on. Shane. Yes. That's going to be a huge show. We got big names coming on. And enjoy. WP Tonic will be up tonight, and so will Timelines at timelinesofsuccess.com.
See you later, folks.
Thanks, take care.
I'm blabbed out.
We are blabbed out. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
The Super Bowl?
Probably not. I probably won't watch it now.
Are you gonna be working?
Yeah, I pretty much work all the time. So
that's a problem with this business. Hey, do you have a graphics person you're signing out graphics to?
No, someone's like trying to hook me up with some people though. So I don't have a person at this time, but yeah, I'm definitely looking.
I want to find a good graphics person. I want to find somebody I can trust. So, because when we create a WordPress. When we create the online media and the streaming, we do a basic WordPress site. It looks a lot like mine. And I want to take it to the next level where I have my clients, just have someone take over the graphics design and give them good advice. The problem is you got to find people you trust. If you go to one of these, I won't say the name.
Yeah.
They start with 99 or some other place. You don't know what you're going to get graphics-wise or what you're going to get in standards. So
I would love to find someone that's either local or, even remote. I mean, it's fine, but just...
remote.
Just start with a small kind of job and see how they do. And I think that's best for anyone that you hire. Even if you're hiring whoever, start small and then see how they do, and then give them something bigger.
Here's a good one for you: get a screen back folder, or a tarp. I have white tarps, black tarps that work upstairs too. But
no, that's a good idea.
And the other thing too is my challenge too between you and I. It's like Jonathan said, we all have challenges. I know how to do this, but I've been trying to find the right platform for learning management systems. And it's hard to do. There's so much out there, and you want somebody who's stable.
Yeah,
so
true that.
But no, you look good. I mean, look how far you've come on your sound, your looks, your colors compared to where you've gone. And John, he's been on the round table for a year at least on WP Tonic.
Yep.
So
I just take your advice. I mean, that's just try and listen to, what people who have more experience say. That's all.
I'm going to put my resource. By the way, I'm going to put my resources link on here to the ATR 2100, so I can make my 4% off my friends at Amazon. That's a resource link with some of the tools that John's using. I'm using. Well, thanks, John. I'm going to take off. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back 9 o'clock.
I'm going to take off too.
Take care.
And I'll hook up with you, Timothy. I'll
Yeah.
find a link, or if not, I'll just create an article.
And by the way, Nicole, some people asked us to review sites. If you get on early or send us an email, we'll put your sites up first next time. So give your email real fast, John.
John at lockdowndesign.com. I'll put it in the thing.
And I'm Bill at conradteam.com. I'll do the same. Please send us the sites you want us to review next week, and we'll put those up first, and we'll knock them right out.
We usually start around 9:30. Is that about right?
We start at 9 o'clock for the podcast. We create the podcast as a 25-minute podcast, start at 9 o'clock. And then at 9:40 or so, we open it up to review websites.
Okay, cool.
And John, I
see everybody next Saturday.
You're going to be regular on this, aren't you?
I think so.
Good.
Yeah.
Stay on. We need that. And when we interview, we have that fourth person come up. Would be good.
Okay.
So thanks. Take care.
All right. See ya.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I want to leave those up for a second. So they got, hey, folks, let me pause.